Hi, I'm John Holland, Chief Revenue Officer at Thrive. Today, alongside Josh Hazelhorst, Sales Engineer at Telarus, we'll talk to you about the experience of doing work with Thrive as your outsourced cyber, cloud, and IT provider. Josh, welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here. I'm honored you even want to get me on this panel just to chit chat. Out of all the engineers that we have here, I'm one of the small fish, man. So hey, I appreciate the time.
We're all small fish, so thank you.
Yeah.
How long have you been working with Thrive, and can you tell us about your experience?
Yeah. So I mean, when I was VAR integrator, I don't even know if Thrive existed, right? But when I came on board to Telarus, my job was cybersecurity SD-WAN. And I think I got introduced to Thrive probably through my boss, right, Josh Lopresto. And you had a story. You had a good stories. I'm multi-locations. I'm a VAR. I'm an integrator. I come from VARs and integrators. I know for a fact a Sentinel Technologies, a Fusion Storm, an Avnet. Every single VAR integrator, MSP, MSSP has a hole and gap in their portfolio. Maybe they don't do physical security. Maybe they don't do managed print services. Maybe they don't do virtual CISO or actual process, procedures, documentation. Maybe they just sell. And every one of them, even the MSPs in my world that are partners, right? I teach them this is everybody's got their bread and butter. Maybe you're great at server storage. Maybe you're amazing at network and routing or whatever. But there's always a hole and gap somewhere, right? And even Thrive in the early years, you guys were amazing at my switch route world, my cybersecurity world, all that. But if there were holes and gaps, I already knew there were holes and gaps. The beauty about Thrive is most VARs, integrators, MSSPs, MSPs always say, yeah, just get me to the customer table and we'll figure it out. Well, in my world, because of the agents that we work for, maybe we'll figure it out is a hard no. Either it's a 100% core competency or it's a hard pass, right? We don't have the luxury of, yeah, let's bring you in and then maybe you can figure out Python or coding or what. No. It's either a core competency or it's not, right? And I think over the years, the reason I kept bringing Thrive to the table is Thrive would automatically, Josh, not a core competency. It's a hard, quick yes, no. So it's a quick email or a text or something. Hey, can you guys do this? Are you proficient at this? Are you perfect at this? Yes, no. If it's yes, bring you to the table and I can trust it. If it's no, yeah, thank you. Because you're not trying to pull the wool over somebody's eyes saying, yeah, we can probably figure it out.
There's nothing more fake and hurting a trusted advisor to just those who say yes to anything and bring us in and we'll hope they'll figure it out, right? Have the confidence in what you do well and don't do well and focus on it.
And I'll give you a specific example. I was working on a large global company just the other day that they just sell to government entities. And they had bought and built a Splunk instance in a Splunk environment on-prem. Then they lost all their Splunk operators. So the partner is going out, first come to me, right? Hey, who can ingest customer-owned Splunk, bring it into their security operations center, add XDR, and basically take it from the customer and do it for them, right? So we brought a couple people in, and I knew right off the top of my head that the players that could do this, right? Some open SOCAS operators that can take this on. But the partner found another couple of guys that, oh yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can do Splunk, da. And then some of these guys came to the table on the customer calls. Yes, we can do it. Yes, we can do it. Oh, but by the way, we don't have any Splunk expertise in-house. No, that's not a maybe. That's a no. That's an absolutely hard no. So we can't waste the user's time or the partner's time. It's got to be, you're a perfect fit or you're not. And Thrive has always been that 100%. I'm not looking for a commission check. I'm looking for the right thing for the customer. And if we're perfect, bring us in. If we're not perfect, don't. And that, I think, is what has correlated and burnt the Thrive logo on our heads is we can ask you guys first, second, third, or fourth, and we're going to get an honest, complete, even if it's an answer we don't want to hear, it's going to be an honest, complete, hard yes or no. And that's perfect for us, which helps us bring you guys to the table more and more.
That's great. From your perspective, why Thrive? Where and why Thrive?
You guys have grown, right? At one time, I used to say, God, I wish these guys were, international presence, and we're in UK and Australia and Singapore and Spain. And it was, God, not Thrive, man. That's got to be another guy. They're just not. But then you guys keep buying these other MSPs and MSSPs. And it was like, yeah, we can do it here. We can do it there. We can do Spain and Australia and UK. So now there's very little no's, right? I'm not going to bring you the guy that, Bob's Lawnmower Shop that's got 2 PCs in South Texas. We already know. Could you? Could you do desktop support for that guy? Sure. Well, you're way too big for that guy, right? There's other local guys that are going to do that, right? We already know when we bring you to the table if you're going to win or if you're going to compete or if you're going to lose. We already know this going in. And when we bring you to the table, we already know this is a Thrive win all day long, right? And so we now get to bring you to more and more opportunities, especially the global rollouts comfortably, because we know you guys are not going to fail and you're going to drive the customer right. You're not looking for the dollar. You're looking for the use case.
Yeah, I think it's funny when you look at cyber and cloud, there's so much opportunity out there. I think we're doing you a service and the TA a service and ourselves to just focus on where we win, because there's just too much out there to be able to wrap your arms around versus bring us into everything just it's an old term that TAs just don't like anymore.
And we get that, especially from the larger MSPs/MSSPs, is, man, just get us to the table. We'll do everything. Listen, there's no possibility that any of these companies can do every aspect of technology perfectly, right? And that's okay. But that's why we bring you to the table more and more and more. I mean, I don't know how many opportunities we bring to you guys daily, but it's not like we're giving you an opportunity to go win or lose. We're bringing you to the table where we already know you're a perfect fit. And it just makes it so easy for me.
Can you tell us about an experience with a client that we've done with you?
Yeah, in fact, you've done multiple projects with us, but specifically there was not too long ago, I would say a mid-size, close to enterprise healthcare operator, where you guys know healthcare. I bring into healthcare a lot. These guys years ago used to have IT staffs, IT project management staffs, their own data centers, their own on-prem guys, their own server storage architects, networking guys. They used to have gigantic teams in IT of the most highly certified people on the planet. They don't run like that anymore. These guys now have the technology, they have the tools, but from a logistics and operations standpoint, they don't have that talent anymore. That talent went to companies like you because end users can't afford a CISO at $300,000 a year. They can't afford a CISSP at $250,000 a year, right? So now they need to come out and they need to find, I still need that big of a staff, but I can't W-2 these guys and I can't retain these guys, because as soon as I work for, Banner Health, this guy's going to give me another $20,000 a year to go to their, I can't keep it, right? So these guys need to figure out, and they're doing it now, is, okay, what can we keep in-house? And what do we need to transfer risk, right? What do we need to outsource? Maybe as simple as things like patch management or desktop support, or maybe it's the full cybersecurity team or IT as a service. I just outsource all of IT because our job is patience, not necessarily blinky lights. And we know we can come to Thrive and say, hey, Thrive, this customer just wants to do this piece. And like in this case, in Endpoint, this was a healthcare operator out of Texas. They wanted you guys to come in and do desktop support, patch management, OS upgrades, firmware upgrades, just get me back up to the levels that I need to be so I'm not operating old systems, and then be my level 1, my level 2, desktop support entities. Great, sign the contracts, be done. And it's funny when end users sign contracts with services like this, sometimes they don't read the entire scope, right? Then it's 2 weeks later, hey, I had an access point go down and this wing of the hospital was down and off of Wi-Fi. Thrive, where were you on that one? Well, you didn't contract us for that piece. We gave you these options, but you said you wanted the network on your own. You wanted the access points and the managed Wi-Fi and whatever. And then eventually what happened was they realized that not just desktop support in the tier 1 and the tier 2 world was problematic because of staff, but also the higher level tier 3 engineers and the network architects and the storage array architects. And they didn't have those guys either. They thought they did, right? So then it was on those contracts, it was next quarter, okay, do all my server storage. Next quarter, do my backup recovery archive. Next quarter, handle my network and everything. I think at this point, I think you guys are almost 100% completely outsourced IT for the organization.
Yeah, we are.
And the organization wants to do business and have business outcomes. They not necessarily want to see anomalies, user behavior anomalies, cybersecurity incidents. They want that to handled so they can get on with business and create revenue, not look at blinky lights and play and punch down blocks or whatever. So it started as something simple, but morphed and grew and sprawled into, you guys, I need you guys to just take it all.
Yeah, it does. And for that one, is an example of one, they were looking for a business outcome, to your point. They were looking, and for the partners, the partners didn't need to, in these wins that we've done with you, they're not going deep into the blinky lights or technologies. They're talking business outcomes, which all these TAs have done. You mentioned on this deal and other deals, you mentioned patching. Well, we have a customer we just do patching for that's like $30,000 a month. We have clients like this that we're doing everything for that are as much we've done with you, $150,000 a month, and we have smaller clients of $4 or $5 grand a month that might just be a cloud deal. So yeah, you run the gamut on the types and size of deals that we're doing with you. That's beautiful.
Yeah, we're working on one right now. That's a problem, Chad. And this, I don't like to talk about. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus and talk about problems. But listen, when stuff hits the fan, how do people respond, right? In this instance, it was kind of the same thing. You guys take care of my network, my switches, my routers, and I'll handle everything. One man IT guy, right? Multiple locations. This is a home builder. Multiple locations all over the place. Dude just had twins and wants to spend more time at home. He is the CIO, but this is a CIO, and I get if anybody's going to listen to this, this is going to resonate. But I'm the CIO that's also pulling cables and doing desktop support and fixing Sally's mouse pad because she spilled coffee on it, right? I'm that guy, right? The same thing. And it became why isn't Thrive doing this? Why isn't Thrive doing that? Why isn't Thrive doing this? And it was this customer. We said, you didn't hire him to do that. You hired him to do this scope. But what it kind of realize, same kind of situation is, yeah, but I don't want to do any of it. I don't have time to do this nonsense. I need them to do everything. And it became almost I wouldn't say a miscommunication or communication breakdown, but the customer was saying, I want everything done for me, but I don't really want to pay for it. I don't want to read scopes of work. I don't want to sign documents, all this other stuff, but also I don't want to do any of the work myself. So now I wouldn't say we're force feeding, but we got to sit down and go baby steps and say, okay, Mr. Customer, which of these things in tech do you want to take on? And which of these do you want us to take on? And now it's yeah, that's a long list, man. I don't want to do any of it. You guys do it. And that's where we're at today. But other MSPs would have finally just ran and said, listen, you're not paying me for this. You didn't sign for that. Listen, go away. I'm gonna bill you what I'm billing you for. That's not how this worked, right? This was really a lot of coaching and hand holding of nobody's telling you, Mr. End User, that you can't do these functions. You're absolutely certified up. You know what you're doing. It's that you just don't have the time to do it. So let's let the Thrive people do that. So that's another one we're working on right now. But you guys didn't run away. You didn't hide from it. You didn't, let's discount this or give them free months or whatever. It was literally, let's fix the business outcome and the money will come later. We're not even gonna worry about that, right? So you guys are just so clean on things like that.
How would you grade the overall experience with Thrive?
I don't know if I could give you A, B, C, D, whatever. If I was just going to grade it or a 1 through 10, right? You guys are a 9 out of 10, 100%. You guys are, A in the world. For my world, it's this. I'm an engineer, just like any other engineer. We're lazy, right? We want to do the right thing by the job, and then we want to move on to the next project. When I bring Thrive to the table, Thrive contracts with the end user, I get to go away and work on another project. I don't get a call from the agent or the end user saying, oh my God, why did you do this to me? I don't get problem children. It is just handled. And the agent, our selling agent, guess what? He gets to take his commission check to the bank. He doesn't get problem children. He doesn't get complaints. The complaints, you guys might get them, but those are your complaints that you guys are handling from a day-to-day care and feeding world. But it never gets escalated to the point it comes to my desk. So listen, you make my job easy, I'm bringing you no more tables, 100%.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you, Josh, and everyone for Telarus for being such a long-time partner and friend to Thrive. To those of you watching the video, please engage with us at the contact information you see on the screen. And thank you very much for watching. Thanks, Josh.